Hello again, welcome back to Barcelona and to the Notebook for day 2 of the first test. And it's a lovely day here, but not such a lovely day for Yasuhisa Arai, the man who was, up until this point, in charge of the Honda F1 operation, has, well, departed the team. He has parted company with the F1 team to be replaced by another Honda engineer who has got previous experience in Formula One, but we'll talk about that a little later. But right next to McLaren is the last man to get a podium for the team, who is Kevin Magnussen. Hello.
Hi.
It's slightly awkward being next door to the old lot.
That's not awkward at all.
Oh. No. Well, I mean, no, it isn't, is it? Because, all right, it might have ended, but you've still got lots of friends, and actually within the race team itself, they know what you can do, you know what they can do, and you might actually be beating them this year.
Let's hope so. We aim to do that certainly. So let's see. We've had it's everything happened quite late, so we've had a bit of a stressed and rushed start, but I think we came a long way, and good job from the team to actually get ready for the first test. So yeah, I think we'll just take it one race at a time and hope for steady progress.
What kind of team have you found here?
A happy team. They seem really happy and really excited. I think they've had 2 really difficult years, money, financial problems, and now have a strong backing is made the team really, it's a massive boost for the whole team, and you can feel that they really believe in it, and that's nice. It's good to be in a team with so enthusiastic people.
And how quickly did the deal come about? Were you aware that Pastor was in trouble with his funding? Were your management talking to the team before that? Who is your management actually, by the way?
So, well, there is a couple of people in my management, but it's were
they already talking, even though you might not have known that Maldonado was dodgy?
Well, we had some conversations with the Renault people in the middle of last year, before they actually took over the team, but then it kind of stalled. I think they realized the contracts they had were valid with their drivers, so yeah, conversation stalled, and I was looking elsewhere. And then in the beginning of this year, we started conversations again, and obviously I didn't have to be told that there was problems in Venezuela. I could figure that out. Yeah. So yeah, and then we were talking and agreeing things, and just in case that there would be a real opportunity, and then the opportunity came.
It's funny actually. People think it's slightly odd because they associate you with McLaren and McLaren Mercedes, I suppose, before that, and McLaren Honda. But actually, you were a Renault driver before you were a McLaren driver, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, most of the career I've had a Renault badge on my race suit, so it's not unfamiliar. It feels familiar. But I mean, it's a good brand in Formula One. These, especially Enstone and Renault and Viry, they've done it before, and not even that long ago. So I really believe in this team. It's a good bunch of people, and they've had some tough times where they really did well with what they had, and so I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the team have spoken a lot about how this is a slightly transition year, and I think we have to believe about that. But of course, you'll be trying. You're also, I guess, team leader, even at a young age, because Jolyon is in his rookie season. But that's going to be important, isn't it? You can lead them on, taking the initiative, and also how important is it that Bob Bell gets Viry-Châtillon on the engine side and Enstone on the chassis side, sort of working together. Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing that. The way that Mercedes say do or Ferrari do, to become a real factory team.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think I don't see myself as the team leader like that. I try to do my best, obviously, but I think Jolyon's been working with the team last year, and drove the car. Yeah. He knows the team better than I do. Yeah. I've had a season in Formula One, racing in Formula One, so in that way you can say I have better experience. But we have different experience, and I would say we're fairly equal. So we're just gonna help each other and push each other forward together. But I think, as you said, this car was initially designed with the Mercedes engine, and I think they've done a good job to revert to Renault and fit that in the car, and it runs without problems today. So let's cross our fingers it continues like that.
All right, brilliant. Listen, thanks very much. It's great to see you back in. It really is, genuinely is.
You too. It's good to see you again, mate. Cheers.
Yep, that's K-Mag, one of the good guys. Now, if you were watching yesterday's notebook, you might have noticed that Alfonso Celis Jr. in the Force India had a green flashing light behind his car. A lot of you were asking why that was. It's to signify that he's a rookie driver. Another rookie driver is here with me. It's Rio Haryanto, driving for MANA Mercedes. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to Formula One. Now, many people would have followed you in GP2 and other series. For those who don't or haven't, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Rio Haryanto. I'm from Indonesia, and this is my first season in Formula One. Obviously, it's been a long time coming. I did my single-seater career in Asia back in 2008 and 2009, and then I'm moving to GP3 for 2 seasons, and the last 4 seasons I was in GP2. So, yeah, again, it's been a long time coming, and I would like to say thank you also to the whole Indonesian who have supported me this far throughout my career.
Well, indeed. And it's a large country, isn't it? I think 200, 300 million people.
Yeah, it's ranked as the number 4th population, the biggest 4th population in the world, number 4. So, it's a huge country. So, I'm glad also to be the first one that can make it to Formula One.
And I know a lot of sports are popular in Indonesia, but what about motorsport? What kind of backing does it have, a following?
Well, it's not that huge, as you know that in Indonesia we only have one circuit, which is Central International Circuit, and it's not that huge. But at the moment now they are growing, as that, I'm as the first Indonesian driver to be in Formula One. So now they are growing in the motorsports.
Yep. Okay. Fantastic. So you're kind of the most famous. That you're like David Beckham in Indonesia.
Well, I don't know. Probably.
All right. What kind of team have you found here at MANA Racing and MANA Mercedes, and what are your hopes and thoughts about the season?
Well, it's a lot of new people on board now in MANA Racing, and the new management are doing pretty well. Also, I hope that I can learn as quick as possible, as much as possible during this short period of time before the Melbourne would be my first Grand Prix, and I hope that I can adapt to the car and also to the team as quick as possible, and obviously we know that MANA Racing is aiming to be the midfield runner team, so why not if we could maybe have the chances to score some points as well this season.
Okay, well, I'm sure you will. Many people from GP2 will know that the Pertamina is an Indonesian oil company. I know your management and the team's management as well are interested in going to Indonesia to get more sponsorship and following from the country. You think that's possible?
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, it's a huge country, and we're still always looking for sponsorship, and also hopefully that can bring more good things to the team as well.
Indeed. Okay. Well, listen, Rio, as part of the thing we like to do with get to know your driver or meet the driver with the rookie drivers, we like to ask you some questions from a quick fire round. Now, these have worked brilliantly in the past, so we'll see which ones we can get through, shall we? What's your best dish that you cook?
I would say pasta.
With a sauce or?
Yes.
Tomato, bolognese, what?
Aglio olio.
Oh, aglio e olio, lovely, beautiful, a bit of oil and garlic. What are you afraid of?
Snakes.
Good one. What makes you grumpy or unhappy or in a bad mood?
When things are not planned. Yeah.
You're a stickler for planning, good planning.
Yeah.
I like that. You're like my wife. I mean, in your desire for good planning. What would you say are things not to ask a girl on a first date?
Hi, how are you?
Yep, that's a good one. Can you roll your tongue like this? Some people can, some people can't. Yeah, you can. Okay, brilliant, fantastic. What was the last music album you downloaded or bought?
Can't remember.
Bit of Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber. What?
Justin Bieber. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a joke. Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, all right. No, there's nothing wrong with being a believer, I guess. What would your superhero power be? Like the Avengers. What would? Carlos Sainz wanted to be time travel, teleportation.
Well, I would like to be someone who is invisible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So invisible man.
Yeah, and cloak of invisibility. Bit of Harry Potter there. It says here boxers or briefs, but that's about underpants. I'm not going to ask you that. What's your most annoying habit?
Most annoying habit. Well,
probably when people don't plan things.
Yeah, and also I fall asleep quite quickly.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of my bad habits.
Oh, that's good. No, there's nothing wrong with falling asleep quickly. Your biggest indulgence? Chocolate or something like that? Sweets, ice cream?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake, love it. And how would your friends describe you?
Some of them said I'm quiet as a person in the beginning, but in the end, I'm fun and I love to joke around.
Okay, and the final one, what's 3 cubed? 3 cubed, I think, means 3 times 3 times 3.
81.
3 times 3, so 3 times 3 is...
9.
9, and then 9 times 3.
21. 27.
It is 27. Congratulations. Excellent quickfire round. That worked brilliantly. I think you'll agree. Rio, thank you very much. We look forward really to seeing what you do in Formula One this year. Thank you. We'll let you go to your briefings and stuff. Join us after the break when we will be rounding up what everyone's been doing here at the second day of the first test in Barcelona. Hi, welcome back to Barcelona, and to wrap up the second day of the first test here on the testing notebook. And you know, that helicopter takes me back to last year when Fernando Alonso had his testing crash, and thus began the 2015 of misery for Fernando Alonso and McLaren Honda. But now today he has just come out and confirmed that he will indeed race this year. All those rumours about him trying out the car for the first time today and seeing if it was something that he wanted to do the season with and then deciding whether to take a sabbatical or not are untrue, he said. He likes it, he can see the promise, he can see the potential, he likes the developments on the chassis itself, he can see that there's stuff coming through on the engine side. I'm sure the departure of Mr. Arai might have encouraged him somewhat, that there's some change afoot at Honda, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, and that Alonso is definitely going to race this year. If you ask me, which you're not, but I'll tell you anyway, I don't think he was ever going to... What was he going to do if he's not going to race? What, sit at home and not be paid? And then what's he going to say the next year? Can I have my seat back? When McLaren put Stoffel in the car, Stoffel Van Dorn in the car for a year, and presumably does well against Jenson Button, what was Alonso going to say? You know, can I have my seat back after I kicked you in the teeth? They might have taken Jenson out and then put Van Dorn and then Alonso, but I didn't just see him doing it anyway. He's not going to. Red Bull, they had a good day. They were P2 with 112 laps with the ultra soft tyre for their quickest time. It was a 23.5 at the time, so it's certainly respectable and reliable. That's it for Daniel Ricciardo for this test. Fiat takes over for the next couple of days. And we have a Delta, everybody, to get excited about. So if you want to look clever in front of your husband or your wife on the sofa during the races, you can now tell them that the Delta, the time difference between the ultra soft tyre, which is brand new, and the super soft tyre, which is the next hardest in the range, is now 0.8 of a second. See, I knew you'd be happy with that. if you want to look clever. So there you go, we have a delta. It seems to be because Ricciardo had the same delta, the difference between the ultra soft tyre and the super soft tyre, as Vettel did. And it was 8/10 on Ricciardo, and it was 8/10 between the two tyres with Vettel as well. But there's a nice idea that someone sent me through a text about, or a tweet, about whether this matte coating on the Red Bull is actually some sort of super hydrophobic coating, the kind of that they use on ships' hulls to reduce drag and skin surface friction. It's a nice idea. I've been asking around, and engineers are looking at that kind of thing, but we don't think it is, not least because if you had such a special coating, you wouldn't be able to clean the car, and the mechanics have been cleaning the car. But it's a nice idea. A super hydrophobic coating, special slippery through the air. Fantastic. Shame it's not true. Mercedes P4, 172 laps. Going to have a look at their motorhome site. And 172 laps is the most mileage in a single day in the whole of this new engine V6 turbo era. So since 2014, that is a record. They have broken their own record, which was from yesterday when Lewis did over 150 laps. So Nico Rosberg, very good. They haven't used the ultra soft tyre. I don't think they're going to. They don't need to. It's a very impressive day for Mercedes. They're clearly out ahead. They had a new nice little technical details with what I call a sort of combine harvester style teeth, sort of blades in front of the side pod. Check Twitter, you'll find it if you want to see some pictures of it. What it does is just sort of help the floor help the airflow under the floor to make the floor give more downforce. It's a nice bit of kit. We'll look at it on Development Corner on Thursday, but a very impressive day. And yeah, only P4, but they weren't really after times because I think they only ran the medium tyre all day. Bit on Toro Rosso, let's do that. P11, but they weren't chasing quick times because it's confirmed by the team that this is really sort of a transitional car just to house the new Ferrari engine. Or I say new, it's not actually, it's the old Ferrari engine, isn't it? It's the 2015 engine, but apparently it's not producing bad results at all. I was worried about this because the only deal that the Toro Rosso could get from Ferrari was an old engine, last year's engine. So they're always going to be at a power disadvantage compared to the 2016 engine that Sauber, Ferrari customer, and Haas F1 run, as well as Ferrari themselves. But they say it's not too bad, but they will bring a kind of new car for the beginning of the next test, which starts on March the 1st. They only ran medium tyres today, did Max Verstappen, and they did long runs with high mileage. He did stop in the middle of the day with an electrical problem, but managed to get going again. 121 laps, as I said, but slowest, P11 for Toro Rosso. Right, Williams. You're still with me. They were P7, 134 laps. Aren't they reliable, everybody? I don't suppose we expect anything different, but very impressive reliability from absolutely everybody. And Williams are a bit worried about whether they're third quickest, still third quickest, or whether Force India is third quickest. So just don't know at the moment. I think they are probably third quickest, depending on what Red Bull do. But their quickest time was on the soft tyres. They didn't run the super soft or the ultra soft like Red Bull did. They did longer runs today. They haven't pushed it yet. They haven't really done any proper setup work yet. It's just all been sort of basic testing stuff. And wow, those tyres are still hot, aren't they? Or is that just spray? No, it is. Oh, they're boiling. Wow. Actually warm your hand on that. That's lovely. And they've been off the tyre for, maybe they've just come out of the blankets. Anyway, so that's it for Valtteri Bottas. Felipe Massa takes over for the next couple of days for Williams, but only P7. Now, well done Force India. I think this is going to be trucks that are very happy today, or tonight I should say, because they were P3, 101 laps. Sergio Perez says he's very happy. It's like night and day compared to this time last year. We just did an interview. Hopefully you've heard that already on Paddock Uncut. Are they the third quickest team? I don't think so. They often do lower fuel runs in testing, but it is a good car, and they should be very happy in the garage there, and presumably so happy they might need the flirt kit in this box here, Simon. Don't quite know what a flirt kit is, but it's kept in the same as a PPE box. So presumably it comes in useful at some point. Ferrari. And Vettel, that's it for him. He hands over to Kimi Räikkönen, and he was P1, quickest on the ultra soft tyre, 126 laps for him. He had the same delta, the same difference between the ultra soft and the super soft, as I said earlier, 0.8 of a second. It was at 22.8 on the ultra soft, at 23.6 on the super soft. So that again is 0.8, and it seems to be half a second between the super soft and the soft, as you'd expect from the previous seasons. But it looks to be that they are suffering a little bit with reliability. There's been lots of repackaging on this Ferrari 2016 car. They've moved the MG UK, the KERS of old, the mode generator unit kinetic. They've moved it positions, and there are issues with slight overheating and just making sure they're getting everything. So they did have a few stoppages, including at the end of the day. And Vettel has said, sometimes I make a mistake, sometimes we have a little bit of overheating. So they're not bulletproof, Ferrari. They're quick, not as quick as Mercedes, but they're not bulletproof. Whereas Mercedes, by the evidence so far, are bulletproof. But interestingly about Ferrari, they have actually moved into their new factory. Apparently they're 90% complete, moved into their new factory with everything under the same roof. And an old Ferrari team principal, Stefano Domenicali, has just been made CEO, or Big Cheese, of Lamborghini, which is part of the Volkswagen Audi group, for whom he works at the moment. So congratulations to Stefano Domenicali. That's a nice position to have, but I'm not sure he'll be particularly welcome around here anymore if he's now president and CEO of Lambo. He's out of Ferrari, but there you go. The replacement for Massimo Rivola, by the way, is Diego Ioverno, the guy I like to call Dave Winter, because Ioverno sounds a bit like the Italian word for winter. It's not actually. So Ioverno was he did look after Boss, the race team, but what he's done now is moved into the kind of sporting manager role that Max Rivola has departed. And Ioverno's old job as kind of race team manager is being shared between him and Jock Clear, the chief engineer. So if you're interested in your Ferrari personnel update, that's the situation there. Sauber, again, a day with the old car, 108 laps, P5. They did aero work in the morning, then they did tyre evaluation, and then they did more aero work in the afternoon. That's it for Marcus Ericsson. Felipe Nasr takes over tomorrow and for the final day. Another bad day for Renault, I'm afraid to say. P10, second slowest, and only 42 laps. It was a better day up to that point, where we think the engine blew up, but that's to be confirmed by the team. 42 laps, engine blew up, and they did bring out a new nose at one point, which is good to see, and sees nice development in there, but didn't really get tested too much. So we'll hope for better things for Jolyon Palmer. Well, no, that's it for Jolyon Palmer. It's K-Mag, Kevin Magnussen, as you heard earlier. He's in the car for the next couple of days. Right, Manor. As we heard, that Haryanto's a nice chap, isn't he? It was nice. He was lovely, wasn't he? Lovely. P8, ahead of McLaren. And is the great threat going to come true that a Manor with a Mercedes engine and Williams gearbox is going to be faster than a McLaren Honda? Well, they were today, because they were P8. Verline was ahead. Pascal Verline was ahead of... oh, careful, Si, you've just bumped into this chap. I'm sorry, sir. We didn't mean to, but he's got this camera, you see, in the way. So I'll try and keep him on a tighter lead. Okay, right, jolly good. Pat Fry's been running the car, ex-McLaren, of course, interestingly. And do you know what? Manor today were 5.5 seconds quicker on their best lap than their qualifying time at the Spanish Grand Prix at this track, last year in 2015. Wow, 5.5 seconds quicker. I'm not surprised. It was an old car last year, but, still amazing. Right, McLaren, we haven't got much time to do this. P9, behind Manor Mercedes, and 119 laps. It's reliable, but it's slow. Yasuhisa Arai has gone, parted company. Honda say that he's 59 years old and is approaching mandatory retirement age at 60 in Honda, corporate rules, and that's why he's departing. Okay, that's true. He's the youngest looking 59-year-old I've ever seen. But I guess that is, we have to believe him on that. What is absolutely true is that, and was made clear to us, at least me, after the Italian Grand Prix, that terrible press conference at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza last September, when Arai was absolutely shredded by the press and received no support from Boullier or from Jenson Button or from Fernando Alonso. It looked to me like the whole of McLaren fed Arai to the dogs on that one and let him get savaged. And from that point, I remember saying in a notebook, I knew he wasn't going to survive. The rumours were that his relationship with Eric Boulier and Ron Dennis had completely collapsed. There wasn't trust there. They couldn't work with him. We don't know. Anyway, it seemed inevitable, and indeed now the inevitable has played out, that Arai is no longer going to be in charge of the Honda F1 program. Instead, it is a chap who was the head engineer when they were at Honda in 2008, and his name is, excuse me, not something I have here. Yes, it is. It's Yusuke Hasegawa. He was up there in research and R&D and was at Honda in 2008 before Honda pulled the plug. Right, finally, Haas. He said Gene Haas was giving some interviews today. They had a good day. He said it's not about whether we can win, it's whether we can outcompete our competitors, which I thought was a lovely phrase from Gene Haas there. And I'm sure they can outcompete their competitors. They have a stable platform in the car. Everything is good. The drivers say that they like it. It's not giving them any nasty surprises. Gutierrez was in the car today, and it's neutral. It's got a nice balance. It's got a Ferrari engine and gearbox, which you know. But the challenge, so he says the challenge is actually not so much the mechanical bits, it's putting this team of people together. And isn't that always the way in Formula One? It's just putting a team of people, getting them to work together and getting the best people anyway, rather than actually putting the hardware together. They do make the car, rather Dallara make the chassis for them and the wings, but there are lots of other suspension elements and bits of the car as well, which are directly from Ferrari. But you might have noticed that we have been calling, I think I mispronounced Haas. I've been calling him Haas today. I think I said Haas yesterday, for which I apologise. Apparently that's not right. I was just saying that because as a Nigel Mansell fan, it used to be Newman Haas that he raced for when he went to America, of course. It was always pronounced Newman Haas. But apparently if you pronounce it with an American accent, as Gene Haas does, then it's Haas. So there we go, as I've been hopefully pronouncing it right now. Okay, right, that's it. We're out of time. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more Notebook, the show that always knows its Haas from its elbow. Good night.